Stop telling yourself you're afraid of failure. You're not. You're afraid of what happens if you succeed at the wrong life. Women are taught that safety is the goal, stability, approval, a life that looks right from the outside. But no one warns you that this so-called safety is just a quieter form of self-betrayal, a slow, invisible decay. Look at your life, carefully. Is it really yours, or is it a carefully constructed mask stitched together from expectations, obligations, and fear? Because here's the truth most people avoid. Failure is loud. It hurts. But at least it's honest. Losing yourself, that's silent. It rots you from the inside. And every day you delay choosing yourself. You pay a price, not in money, not in status, but in identity. Another year pretending, another year shrinking, another year becoming a stranger in your own body. This is not a video to comfort you. This is a confrontation. Because if you don't face this now, there may be nothing left of you to come back to. But I won't leave you there. Because what comes next is the part no one tells you. I didn't realize I was disappearing. Not at first. From the outside, everything looked right. I made the smart choices, the safe ones, the ones people nodded at with approval. A stable path, a predictable rhythm, a life that didn't raise concern. But there was this quiet feeling I couldn't name, like I was watching myself live instead of actually living. I remember one night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. The room was silent, but my mind wasn't. It kept asking the same question over and over again. If everything is fine, why do you feel so empty? That was the first crack, because emptiness doesn't come from failure. It comes from disconnection, and I was deeply disconnected from myself. I had built a life that made sense to everyone else, except me. Every decision I made was filtered through an invisible system, a system that asked, will they approve? Will this make me look like I have it together? Will this keep me safe from judgment? I wasn't living. I was performing. And the worst part? I didn't even realize I was the one holding the script. But the truth has a way of surfacing, especially when you're quiet enough to hear it. My breaking point didn't come with a dramatic collapse. It came with a simple, unbearable realization. I am not failing. I am vanishing. That sentence hit harder than any rejection ever could, because failure means you tried and didn't succeed. But this meant I wasn't even trying to be myself anymore. I had traded my identity for approval, my voice for validation, my truth for comfort. And slowly, piece by piece, I became someone I didn't recognize. If you see yourself in this, listen carefully, because what's happening here is not random, it's psychological. When you constantly adapt yourself to fit external expectations, you create a distorted internal system. What psychology calls a misaligned reference frame. Your decisions stop coming from your core and start coming from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood, fear of not being enough unless you're accepted. And over time, this creates something dangerous, a life that looks stable, but feels completely hollow. That's the trap. You think you're avoiding failure, but what you're really doing is avoiding yourself. And here's where everything changed for me. There was a moment, quiet, almost insignificant, where I stopped asking what I should do and started asking a different question. What is actually mine? Not what's expected, not what's praised, not what's safe. What is mine? That question was uncomfortable because the answer required honesty, and honesty destroys illusions. I started to see all the places where I had betrayed myself, the conversations where I stayed silent when I wanted to speak, the choices I made just to avoid conflict, the paths I followed just because they were already laid out. It wasn't dramatic. It was subtle. And that's why it was so dangerous, because self-betrayal doesn't feel like destruction at first. It feels like adaptation. But here's the lesson that changed everything. At my lowest point, I understood something that Stoic philosophy has always taught. You don't suffer because of what happens to you. You suffer because you abandon control over your own response. I couldn't control how people saw me. I couldn't control their expectations. I couldn't control whether they would accept the real version of me, but I could control one thing, whether I would continue abandoning myself to earn that acceptance. That was the shift. Self-mastery doesn't mean having everything figured out. It means reclaiming authority over your own life. It means choosing alignment over approval, truth over comfort, integrity over image. And no, it's not easy. Because the moment you stop performing, you will feel exposed. You will feel uncertain. You will feel like you're risking everything. But what you're actually doing is returning to your origin. Your real self doesn't need to be built. It needs to be uncovered. And that process requires one thing most people avoid: boundaries. Not walls. Not isolation. Boundaries. The ability to say, this is who I am, and this is where I stop compromising. Because every time you say yes to something that violates you, you say no to yourself. And if you keep doing that long enough, you won't even know who you are anymore. So no. The real danger was never failure. It was forgetting yourself so completely that even success couldn't bring you back. Now you see it. The problem was never failure. It was the quiet, repeated decision to abandon yourself over and over again. So here's where it changes. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a line you refuse to cross again. Start with this. First, identify one place in your life where you are lying to yourself. Not to others. To yourself. Name it. Clearly. Without softening it. Second, remove one behavior that is keeping you trapped. One conversation you keep avoiding. One role you keep playing. Cut it. Cleanly. Third, choose one action that reflects who you actually are, not who you've been performing as. It doesn't need to be big. It needs to be real. Because this is the truth. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to be aligned. And the moment you choose alignment, you stop negotiating your worth. So decide. No more masks. No more silent compromises. No more slow decay. If you choose yourself, say it. I choose myself. Not for the world, for you.